Hello Internet, this video is part of the Jeep Projects playlist on Scott's Garage, where my 89-year-old father and I are doing a frame-off restoration of a 1946 Willys CJ2A. In this video, I will show you how I fixed two broken upper shock mounts by grinding off the old ones and then welding on two new universal upper shock mounts sold by Kaiser Willys Auto Supply. Keep watching. Here is the rear of the vehicle, and as I zoom in here, you can see that the shock mount on the driver's side is absolutely fine in the rear. However, you go over to the passenger side and it's just ripped out. It just has to be replaced. Then, as I pan forward to the front of the vehicle, you can't see it, but on the passenger side, the shock mount there is fine. But on the driver's side, it just looks like crap. Somebody welded it in and it just doesn't look good at all. So I'm going to be cutting out the front driver's side shock mount, replacing it, and then the rear passenger side shock mount. Okay, so I put a metal blade on my grinder to cut off the old shock mounts. And after I did that, I put one of those sandpaper buffing pads on the grinder and just smoothed it down to the metal. It worked really well. Okay, here is a closer look at the universal upper shock mount sold by Kaiser Willys Auto Supply. You can see that you have the option of drilling it through the frame and putting bolts through. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to weld it on. It's very sturdy. It's not original, but it's sturdier than the original. It comes with the nut with the nylon keeper on it, and it should work really well. So I discovered that my engine mounts were cracked, and I decided it would be good to lift the Go Devil engine to detail it later. I have some separate videos on this. Now, the original plan was for my neighbor to come over with his welder and that we'd plug into the generator at 220 power. However, the plugs didn't line up, so we came up with plan B, and that was to haul the frame over to his garage, which is just across the way. So in addition to the upper shock mount on the passenger side being ripped off, the lower shock mount was bent. So we took the tire off and decided to use the acetylene torch to heat it up and simply tap it into place. Okay, here's the final product. So there's the rear shock mount that my neighbor welded on. He also heated up the lower mount and was able to tap it back with a hammer so it's nice and straight. Here's the front driver's side shock mount, likewise welded in place. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. So Dad, I'm pleased with how these shock mounts turned out. What about you? Are you pleased?
I'm very pleased. They're a lot stronger than being welded. I'm glad you welded them.
And I think you're right. They are also stronger than the originals. The originals are welded as well. But if you notice, the metal on these new shock mounts, and they're universal, you can use them on a variety of years of Jeeps. But I would say at least 3 times thicker than the original shock mounts. Hey, I want to thank Kaiser Willys Auto Supply for sponsoring the Jeep project on Scott's Garage and also for supplying these shock mounts. Reminder that you can get a Scott's Garage discount on any item at KaiserWillys.com with the exception of tubs, tub kits, or tires. When you check out, simply put S Garage in the discount code box, and again, you'll get 10% off. If you got any value at all from this video, please give us a like. It costs you nothing, but is of great value to us. And as usual, have a great day.